I honestly have no idea whether this is a parody or not. I just can't tell. I'm just at the point where I just can't goddamn well tell. I've never heard of Junkie before, so I don't know if it's a parody site or not. I mean, I'm looking at the popular articles, and they don't seem to necessarily be parody. They just seem to be written by sassy women, effectively. And I just don't know whether I should take this seriously. So I looked this person up, Maureen Farqui. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but but apparently she's got a Wikipedia page that, I mean, I think it's the same woman. And it says that she's a fucking politician. She's an Australian senator for New South Wales since last year, representing the Greens. Apparently, I don't know anything about Australian politics really, so I can't tell. But oh my god, I bet this comment section of this video is going to be filled with Australians going, she is such a... No, I know what word they're going to use and it'll get me demonetized. And I've used it twice in the past couple of videos and I don't want to keep using it. But anyway, apparently, this is not... I just can't figure out if this is actually satire or not. Like, is this an amazing sense of humor? I mean, like, who would fucking say this to another human being and think that they were the ones in the right? This year's International Women's Day theme, More Powerful Together, is a call for men, women and gender diverse people to work together for equality. At a time when rabid men's rights activists are seeking to destroy feminism, what does working for gender equality look like? I, for one, have always been unsure about the role of men in a feminist movement. Well, I guess me too. Like, I think you should kick them out. I think they should be ostracized from your movement. Is that not where you're going with this? After all, we've seen the skin-deep nature of groups such as White Ribbon, where men are celebrated merely for pinning a ribbon on as a symbol of their support. It's not tokenistic gestures like this will end gender-based violence, create equal pay for equal work, and make sure women have the unambiguous right to choose. It's concrete actions that will change the culture of misogyny and patriarchy. It's just boilerplate feminist rhetoric, like Titiana McGrath would use. Like, this is not an argument. Like, is what I'm trying to say. To do this, men who call themselves feminists or allies have to step up to the task. Yeah, but I guess, I mean, you know, they could definitely do something about all that sexual assault. But anyway, it's crucial that your feminism isn't performative but wholly unassuming. It cannot shut out women's voices, especially those that are traditionally sidelined by mainstream movements. The voices of women with disability, trans women, Aboriginal, and Torres Strait Islander women and other women of colour. Why not? Why the fuck not? Calling yourself... In fact, why not women from Pakistan, since you are a woman with a Pakistani heritage? Why didn't that come into it? Is it because you feel that the argument is stronger when it's Aboriginal women? Because they're not immigrants. It's just interesting that's the way that seems to have been phrased, isn't it? Calling yourself a feminist and acting like one are two completely different things. I guess. I love browbeating the feminists. This isn't even an attack on me. When they say men should shut up, what they mean is male feminists should shut up. People in their spaces who agree with them should probably shut up if they're male. This is your future male feminist, just so you know. I mean, what are you going to do to argue against this? How are you going to use feminism to get your voice back just out of interest? You're going to paint yourself as being oppressed by the bossy women. When I brought the first ever bill... Oh, God, she is a politician. When I brought the first ever bill to decriminalise abortion and safe access zones outside reproductive health clinics to the New South Wales Parliament in 2016, there were quite a few male MPs who claimed to be pro-choice but were unwilling to support a law that gave women the complete right to make decisions about their own bodies. It goes too far, they said, and voted against it. I dread to think what giving them the complete right to make decisions about their own bodies means... especially if the left in America is anything to go by. I'm very, very wary of the woman's right to choose thing, as if this is some kind of ultimate principle, some high principle that is above all others, like, for example, someone else's right to life. I'm not really very much a fan of it, I've got to be honest, and I think that it allows unqualified decisions that are quite soul-destroying to be made as if they are just something trivial, and I don't like it. And I don't really like the rhetoric that comes, and the sort of principles that back up the idea of a woman's right to choose. This becomes far too radical left, frankly. It's really, really too far gone. I mean, I do agree that a woman has a right to choose to a certain degree, in the same way that a man has a right to choose to a certain degree, because it is not just a woman and a man that are involved here, is it? But anyway, let's carry on. If men can't support the very basic right of bodily autonomy for women, and then they are nothing more than pretend allies. As in, if men aren't radical abortion extremists, they are not really on our side. Which goes to show you everything you need to know about this woman's politics. She sounds like a fucking jihadi for feminism. It's just a feminist version of a jihadi. I don't know what we're going to call it. But pretend allies aren't just in parliaments. Women know all too well that one doesn't have to go looking for them on social media either. For every tweet or Facebook post on an issue that affects women, there are dozens of men who will pop up solely to contribute 3 words. Not all men. Oh yes, I'm not fucking surprised when you're pathologizing all men. The myriad variations of this phrase are often... God, I feel like I've gone back in time. I haven't seen an article like this in years. The myriad variations of this phrase are often cloaked in very sincere-sounding tweet or a helpful Facebook comment. Too many flag bearers of the not all men crowd. God, what? How old is this? This is surely a modern article, right? Like, yeah, the 8th of March 2019. This is fucking today, and it's only been 8th of March for an hour and a half. Fucking hell. Okay, fine. Yet their patronising behaviour persists. Yeah, but it's like you're a child who doesn't know their place in the world and doesn't know that there should be restrictions on you. This is the thing. Everyone should have some restrictions placed upon them in order so they know how they're supposed to act and so they don't start acting in ways that are detrimental and harmful to others. I don't know why I have to explain that. Like, even my kids understand the idea of authority and why it should happen. They try to exercise it over, like, each other and the cats. You know, they don't just think the idea of authority is just a negative or undesirable thing. Like, there has to be some kind of way of keeping us in line. Otherwise, we will do bad things to each other. I mean, we've discovered that we need laws in this regard. These have been really, really stringent. Anyway. Responding to these defensive comments which sidetrack the conversation away from women's issues take up a lot of time and energy. I've mostly found myself rolling my eyes and moving on. But this year's International Women's Day theme has got me thinking about what it would take for these self-professed allies to make a genuine difference. What role should men play in the feminist movement? Now, you'd think this thesis would be a bit more than, I guess, like 5-6 paragraphs or lines. A good place for them to start is to not expect accolades for doing what is right. That's right. You're doing exactly what they want, but they're not even going to fucking thank you for it. This is what they expect from you. Your subservience. Just remember that. That's what they think. And this is the people who wrote letters, started petitions, helped tape up posters, did actual labour. That's what you're expected to do. It is labour. Not just agree with them, fucking labour for them, right? Because solidarity, also shut your mouth by the way, because solidarity requires a willingness to listen and learn. Crucially, shut up. Literally just shut the fuck up, says this feminist. It means being okay with staying, and this is to the people she thinks are allies, it means being okay with staying behind the scenes and leaving the space wide open for women to take the centre stage. Are you happy to literally just let the bossy women command you around and do work for them, just out of interest? It means not hijacking conversations on women's issues. It means calling yourself a feminist not only where it draws praise, but in male-dominated spaces where it matters the most. The locker rooms, cabinet meetings and boardrooms for which the women are excluded. Police other men's behaviour. You're the agents of the bossy feminist women. And when you're in male spaces, you're expected to stand up for them. God, I can't even believe this is a thing that male feminists... There are male feminists who believe this sort of shit. With the mainstreaming of feminist rhetoric, it's very easy for men to say what's expected. Wear the right t-shirt and put the popular frame on your profile picture. It's far more difficult to give up the benefits of patriarchy. Like autonomy. Like being your own master. That's the patriarchy now. They're annoyed at the patriarchy because it means the patriarchy is them not being able to boss other men around just for the sake of it because they're women. but you're the guys who are like, you know what, I'm going to voluntarily consent to this. Privilege is deeply, I see your privilege there. Privilege is deeply ingrained, almost unconscious, and people perhaps understandably get uncomfortable with being called out. But for equality to become a reality, we need a rebalancing of power, because these lazy bints are not going to do the hard work themselves. Other people are busy doing the hard work. That's patriarchy. They deserve it just because they are what they are, and for equality to happen, a rebalancing of power has to happen, because they're never going to become equals, because they're too goddamn lazy or stupid or whatever. These are not the successful, hardworking women. They're all off not complaining about inequality, believe it or not. A true ally must willingly give up privilege and show an eagerness to listen and stand alongside, not on behalf of them. In other words, it would be far more useful if, instead of just talking the talk, men just steadily walk the walk. Only then can more powerful together be more than just a catchphrase, as you're essentially put into shackles and sent down the mines. It's for the greater good. I mean, come on. But this was an absolute gem. I really enjoyed this. I haven't seen an article like this for quite some time. Everything's been depressing recently.